Okay, hi, Kairo. Very nice to welcome you on this PICTO and Guest new session.
Nice being here.
Welcome with us. You are based in London and hold a BA in photography from the London College of Communication.
Yes.
Your artistic approach is community-based. Your work explores the concept of identity, belonging, and family diaspora. You are one of the 4 winners of the Carte Blanche Students Program in 2023. What does this opportunity mean to you?
Whoa. This opportunity means a lot because of the nature of my work, and because my project is very personal, and it's about the link between my home country, Albania, and my identity, having it seen by like a wider audience in a whole different country is just very exciting because I'm able to not only showcase like my practice, but also get feedback and hear other people's opinions and how they see things, which I think will also inform my practice in the future when I approach like new projects.
The series you will be presenting in Paris Photo, Light Are the Ones, Heavy is the Wind, is a work that explores your journey back to your home country of Albania, as you said, and the challenges you faced there as a gay and transgender person. Then, how did this project come about and what form did it take?
So this project started in lockdown. I was in London with my grandmother, and she started sharing a lot of her stories about Albania and growing up there. And I always kind of saw my culture and my identity as a queer and trans person very like as two separate entities. I could never find like a common thread or a way to exist in both. So it kind of started having like with these conversations that I had with my grandmother, and the more I kind of looked into it, the more there was like a long history of gender diversity in Albania, um, which made me interested in just wanting to go back there and like establish a connection with a place where I wasn't necessarily like feeling at home in. So that's how the project kind of came about, and it's about yeah trying to find that space where I can be myself, but also the struggle of not finding it and what that means. And what it means to be a trans person in Albania and also from the diaspora nowadays.
About the form that you decided to give to this project, there is a lot of self-portraits, and you are really in the story in this trip in Albania. Can you speak about that?
Most of the project was shot using a large format camera, and that's because when I was studying photography in Albania, the first photo studio that was established in Albania was actually in my hometown. And even though there were like new like photo cameras coming out during the 90s, because Albania was a communist country, they were still using large format photography, and I found that very interesting. So I decided to like shoot it using large format, but it was also a way for me to be very present in a place where I just felt like I was having an out of body experience almost, because like I wasn't being recognized as myself, and so it was very hard to like be be there like physically, emotionally. So the idea of like really taking it slow and really thinking about what images I wanted to take helped me. And the self portraits came about because no one was like recognizing me as myself. I decided to take that narrative into my own hands. And I thought if no one sees me, then I might as well create that space where I can see myself. So it was a way to kind of like reestablish my connection to myself, to my identity, and a way of saying like I'm here despite all the difficulties and the pain.
It's mainly in black and white. And did you do negatives or digital images?
It was negatives, yeah.
Why did you choose to do negatives?
Negatives. So it was in. So I decided to shoot it in black and white purely because of a financial reason, actually. Because black and white film in when shooting large format is cheaper, and obviously being a student, like you need to come to understand, like actually the limits that you're working with can actually you know be an advantage to your practice. And I really fell in love with like black and white photography when I was shooting that, because it kind of like watered everything down and it made things simpler. So for me, it was like a way of seeing things in a much more like simpler way than if I was shooting in color.
In your presentation, you wrote that thanks to this work, you could understand that belonging becomes a thread you carry within you rather than the physical spaces you inhabit. Can you explain that concept?
Sure. I was born in Italy and I grew up in Italy, uh, and obviously I come from an Albanian family, and we've moved around a lot. So throughout like my upbringing, there was this idea of like the home being a physical space, and we tried our best to create like a homely feeling and maintain our culture through music, food, and different aspects of our culture, even when we were in different countries. Um, Not having gone to Albania for like 11 years, I always thought that by going back there, I would be able to experience that feeling of home outside of, these two countries where I've grown up and lived in, like actual, like home, because it's the place where your family are from. And having had like a very different experience going there, and like a very like kind of painful almost understanding of, I'm realizing that this is like home is within me, because it's like what I bring to the space and what other people bring to a space, and it's not necessarily like a physical space people go to. So it's like what I create around me and what other people create.
So your work is a very personal based project. And in your more general approach, you are interested in creating new career archives and cultivating a support network of visual artists who challenge the often prejudicial narratives propagated by the media. What does it involve for you in your practice?
So when I moved to London and I was growing up, kind of trying to discover my own queerness and my own identity, I found myself in in spaces where there was like a big nightlife queer community. So I started attending those nights and documenting my time with my friends and like people I met there, and um, just kind of like finding a way to express myself, but also like express my community through those images. Um, with this project, like Tell the Wounds, Heavy is the Wind, it's a very personal project because I needed to like go there for myself. Um, but in the long term, I do plan on going back and telling other people's stories. I just, I think I needed to realize what my own story was before approaching the wider community. So I am in touch with a queer Albanian charity that works as a center for young queer people who get thrown out of their houses for being queer. And I plan on going there and giving my time and space to let them use photography in the way that best represents themselves. So it's a very like kind of collaborative approach where I don't want to be kind of steering the narrative. I almost want to create a space where people are free to express themselves through the photography like medium. Um, so yeah.
So you, in a few days, you will come to Paris for this special experience to attend a big fair as Paris Photo at the Grand Palais Éphémère, and also to present your work through an outside exhibition in a train station from SNCF in Paris. And so what do you expect from this experience at Paris Photo as part of the Carte Blanche Students program?
What do I expect? I try to have no expectations when I go somewhere, just because I want to stay open to the experience of it. But I think I expect it to um, bring a lot of like insight into other people's works as well as mine, and just like really understand. I don't think I understand the value of my work as of yet. So really like being able to have been invited to Paris Photo really means like a lot, because I'm starting to understand what my practice actually means outside of just me being in my room and editing these images, or like me being in Albania and like working this thing out in my head. So yeah, being able to like see it outside of my own like space, um, I think yeah, it's gonna be amazing to me. So I'm very grateful.
Okay, Kairo, thank you very much for sharing with us your experience, the way you're working, and I wish you a big success for this experience at Paris Photo.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
See you soon.